Good day, everybody. How's it going? I hope you're all having a wonderful day. I'm Timeister, and welcome back once again to Oxbourg. This endless garbage men strike of ours is continuing on with no end in sight, and garbage is piling up all around the city. Now, why is this happening? Well, that is because Timeister is not a very good mayor. He's not providing enough resources for the garbage men to go out and do their jobs. Our garbage processing status is falling below what is considered acceptable. We don't have enough employees. We don't have enough trucks on the roads collecting garbage. And as a result, garbage is piling up in places like hospitals and schools, the last places you want garbage starting to pile up. So that is why the first portion of this episode, I'm gonna commit to fixing this garbage problem once and for all. We're gonna future-proof our garbage collection service. I'm considering building an incineration plant because not only can we incinerate the garbage at an incredible rate, we can also generate quite a bit of electricity as well, which we can then sell, which should offset a little bit of this upkeep at $105,000 a month. So it's not a cheap building, but I think this could help us out in the long run. But that leaves us to another challenge. Where are we going to place either one of these buildings? And I think the best option would be somewhere over here near our industrial port. But because of this mountainous terrain, I really don't know where I'm going to plop this building. So I'm thinking just across the bay, in this really flat region. I think this might be a really good contender to build either one of these buildings. Most likely the incineration plant at this point. But let me just check quickly what kind of wind we're going to be dealing with over here. It looks like barely any wind at all because of the flatness of this region. And the little bit of wind that we do have is blowing in this direction, which I don't really mind because it's just going to blow into the industrial area anyways, which, you know, it doesn't really care too much for air pollution. But whatever we're going to build on this side of the bay, we're going to need to build a bridge to connect these 2 points. And that is what I'm going to start off by doing. And I've already kind of planned this out. And what I am opting for in this case, if I can find it. Oh yeah, a grand bridge. So we have our beautiful historic looking suspension bridge that I think could look very impressive. Okay, well, what weird timing is this? I bet I know why all these people don't have any water. And that is because, well, of course, we're lacking water availability. But why are we lacking water availability? Well, let's just take a look at our water tower here, which is running... Oh, wait a minute. This one is running at 115%. Is there any... Okay, that's a little weird. I mean, it is maxed out. So we are like producing the maximum amount of water this can, but what if I take a look at this temporary water tower over here? Efficiency, still 100%. What about this water pump? Okay, yeah, this is the example I was looking for. So as you can see, because of the piled up garbage, oh yeah, that's totally why. So we don't have any garbage piling up at these two establishments, which is why they're running at 100%. But this water pump over here specifically is only running at 71% efficiency because of the piled up garbage, and people are running out of water. Now, before this turns into a widespread problem, I'm gonna temporarily build another water pump over here, which is just gonna tip us over the edge, hopefully into the dark green here. Let's just accelerate the simulation a little bit. Give that a chance. Okay, perfect. So at least now we're going to provide enough water. And then sewage treatment, we're all good for that. So we're going to continue on here. I've placed 2 boats in the middle of this river in order to make sure that we're able to build this bridge high enough to where they can pass under. So I think the sweet spot is going to be maybe around 20 meters. So if I build it at 20 meters, let's just see here. Oh, maybe a little bit higher because it looks like the antenna above the passenger ship is just clipping in the middle of the bridge. So I'm gonna, for good measure, go up to 25 meters. And that should just barely clear it. I mean, do we even, maybe we want to go right up to 30 meters, but I feel like that's pretty high. I don't know, let's build a 30-meter high bridge and see how this looks. However, I'm not sure how long I want this bridge to be. I'm thinking, you know, because this is not going to be the Golden Gate Bridge by any means, but if I could build it like maybe like this long. Let's see what that gives us. Oh yeah, and I think that's plenty high. And again, this is just assuming that this is the water level that the boats are going to float in. Oh, that's plenty. And I mean, I doubt the boats are going to float a lot higher than this. Like, they're practically out of the water and they still have room. I'm assuming they're going to ride maybe at about this height, which, you know, leaves a lot more room. And it looks like the bridge is tipping a little bit. It looks like this end is a bit lower. So with the magic of Move It, I think I'm just gonna lower this bit a little bit. Oh no, that's not gonna work. Okay, here's what I'm gonna have to do. I know where I want to plop the bridge. So my starting point is here, end point is there. So what I can simply do is go into my terraforming menu, and I'm totally just gonna eyeball this. If I take the height from maybe around here, and then I'm gonna match that height over here, that should make the bridge perfectly level. Let's give that a try. Let's see what kind of results we can get from that. And there we go. I think we have a perfectly level bridge. So now I want to play a little bit with the terrain because I don't want the off ramps and the on ramps onto this bridge to be super drawn out and long. This side I'm okay because I have these mountains over here, but I think I'm going to do a little bit of terraforming either way just to kind of build myself a bit of a platform out here. I think that follows the natural outline. And then we'll have to figure out how we're gonna like connect this bridge with the rest of the city. But let's just go on over to this side of the island. Or, well, I guess we're on the mainland over here. And I'm just gonna flatten this out. Actually, I might raise it just a little bit higher. Okay, let's actually get like a full-blown mountain going over here. Maybe not quite that high because I still want there to be somewhat of a ramp leading up to this bridge. And then we'll draw this out maybe to about here, and let's put a little bit of a curve into it. Awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna jump into time-lapse mode, guys, because I'm gonna figure out what I want to do for this interchange. Okay, so this road is likely going to have to connect to our main highway here, I'm thinking. So that's gonna require a little bit of time-lapse work. Not to bore you guys, because this could take literal hours. So I'm gonna jump into time-lapse mode now, guys, and I'll see you in a few moments. All right, guys, this is the absolute beauty that I've come up with. Now, it's not the most efficient thing because, you know, this doesn't leave for much of a turning or merge lane or anything like that. But you know what? This looks like this would have been a very old piece of infrastructure. Imagine like 1960s highways, maybe even older than that. Maybe like 1940s, 1950s when highway interchanges were like just brand new. And this is the best they could come up with. With the resources that the city planners would have had at the time. But I think it's actually going to work all right. We're not going to see a ton of traffic coming across this bridge for now, at least. But when the time comes, when we need additional capacity, you know, we might consider just building another bridge altogether. But anyways, we have our main arterial road coming over into to this area. And we're now good to plop another... Well, what are we deciding? Are we doing a recycling center? I think, you know what, guys? I'm just going to go bite the bullet. You know what? We're almost 14 million in the bank right now. We're making past 2 million a month. I think we're okay to afford an incineration plant. And with a little bit of luck, it fits perfectly right here. Oh, crap. Not quite, because I have to draw some power lines coming out the back of this thing. Yeah, because I'm going to have to get the electricity into town. Okay, well, is this going to cost me a fortune now to replace this building? Well, we're about to find out. If I draw a little 2-lane road going in this direction, and then I go and plop this building once again. Okay, it's only 200K. We're fine. We can totally afford this. And there we are, just like that. We're producing a ton more electricity. Oh yeah, of course we have to bring some water out to this this place. So I'm just gonna draw some water pipes under this main road. And then we'll draw them out under the bridge, just like so. And oh boys, wow, okay. Do we have a bottleneck on our hands? It looks like we're about to. We're gonna want to consider building maybe an alternative to this. So perhaps what I can do to alleviate a little bit of congestion from this line, I'm going to draw a water pipe following this rail line going out this way. And then I don't think we're going to see too much development over here in the mountains. And so if I connect all of this together, the idea is that this is going to provide a little bit of relief. There. I think that should do it. Oh, wow. Okay, so it looks like most of the water coming to this plant is actually going through this secondary route here. Interesting. All right, well, we got water hooked up. Now let's connect this up to the rest of the grid. And for this, I think I'm going to keep it simple. I'm just going to make these power lines follow our rail tracks going around the bay. From here, I don't think this line is super saturated, so what I think I can do here, this might actually work out. If I build a little street heading off into this direction, just like this, I can build a little transformer station. And then I can make this go up into the mountains. And then back down the other side where we'll connect everything together. There we go. So that's going to feed into the grid. All I have to do here is add power to these two little stretches of road. Make sure we got power the whole way through. There we go. And then on top of that, let's let's get some of these power lines going to the edge of the map. And then we'll be able to sell some of this electricity, and it's going to provide us with an alternative means of electricity. Oh my god, what is going on here? Okay. We're just worried the power lines were being all weird, but boop. There we go, guys. Awesome. So that gives us a second power connection into the city. Now, do I want to connect up these two power grids? I probably do. It's probably in my best interest to do so, just so we can transfer some electricity from one side to the other. Let's do it like this. There, awesome. That's not too bad at all. And I don't think these power lines will be too much in the way. Maybe over here we'll have to like move stuff because I'm planning on building things there. But for starters, I don't think that's too bad at all. And okay, let's check. Has this made any impact at all? Yes, look at that, guys. We're now able to process over 5,000 tons of trash a month. And we only require just over 1,700. So we're set up for the foreseeable future, for sure. This is absolutely exciting. You know, with these two garbage processing sites, you know, this is really not in the way. I'm gonna let the garbage processing take place and, you know, just leave them enough time to come collect all of this garbage, because how many trucks do we now have? So we're able to process 5,000 tons. And if I click on this plant, 50 vehicles? Okay, why are we using 50? Oh, this is probably the entire map. This has got to be the entire map. Oh my god, not even. Holy crap, guys. Okay, so we got 25 vehicles at the recycling center. And over here at the incineration plant, we got, I don't know why it's 60 out of 50. Are we renting vehicles from somewhere? But anyway, we have up to 50 vehicles. Holy crap. I think we're going to be okay. And then we have a few upgrades that we could apply to this building, such as an extra incineration furnace, or we could do garbage truck depot if we required 25 more trucks, or a storage extension. But I think we're okay with what we have right now. How much of an impact is this having on my economy? A little bit. I definitely feel it, but I mean, we're still so much in the green. I don't think I have to worry about this for a long, long time. But this is absolutely beautiful, guys. I'm really, really happy with this bridge that we've built. You know, we've done a lot of infrastructure work this episode. Really great to see that. And you know what? Might as well take up this opportunity to build up some extra industry while we're at it. We'll squeeze in a couple buildings. Okay, so that does it for the first portion of this episode that I wanted to complete. We're all good. Now we're just gonna have to give the simulation a little bit of time for all of this garbage to go away, but we're actually off to a great start, because in the beginning of this episode, if you noticed, we had a bunch of garbage piling up at the hospital, at either one of these schools, and things are already starting to change. The garbage men are satisfied. They have more than enough equipment to complete their jobs, and I think overall the city is already starting to be a lot cleaner. And oh my god, what a difference. Look at all these trucks, guys. This is crazy. I think we've gone a little overkill. But that's okay. And all right, that leads us into the second part of this episode, where I wanted to continue working in Hamilton. Now, if you look at the borders of Hamilton, it just contains this little chunk over here, but I think I'm gonna extend the size of Hamilton just a little bit. I'm gonna extend it up to about here for now. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to transform Hamilton. I want to transform Hamilton into a college borough, or a college community. And with a little bit of luck, again, this is the second time this happens this episode, I want to build a college in this part of town. I want to provide some additional post-secondary education opportunities to the city, because right now, all we have for a college is our French college over here, which is completely maxed out. And oh, it looks like we have an upgrade actually. Rooftop leisure area. Okay, yeah, why not? That gives us a little bit extra capacity, which is quickly going to get filled up, I'm sure. But at this point, we definitely need a second campus here in the city, and what a perfect location to build this college campus. Again, guys, this was not planned out. It just ended up this way, but look how perfect this campus fits in to this empty lot here, right squeezed in between these two roads. Oh my god, I'm going to have to fix this. This is terrible. But there we go. Look at that. We got our very first campus. And I'm going to add an extension wing just for good measure, right? Because we're definitely going to need it. And then the only other upgrade we have for our college campus is a college library. And I'm kind of torn between two locations for this library. One, I think it would look cool right here. But I also think it would look pretty cool facing the main building of the campus. If I can line this up right, I think this would look pretty darn cool over here as well. But you know what? If I'm forcing myself to make a decision, I think I'm gonna go with this spot right here. I don't know, it just fits a little better into this location, and I think it looks pretty darn cool lined up with Elm Street. So we're gonna go with that. Perfect. So unfortunately, there's not much else to a campus in the default game at the moment, but eventually, hopefully, we'll get some more university buildings and stuff that are released as DLC. But for now, I'm going to do a little bit of work surrounding the campus because I'm not really liking this layout. And this highway was here by default on this map, and I think I'm just going to straighten this out. Just like this. And then I think if I redraw this elevated rail section, I think it's going to behave a little bit better. Yeah, look at that. The pillars are exactly on either side of the sidewalk. So, oh crap, that's not what I wanted to do. So we'll get that at 180 degrees, line this all up as best as we can. And then we'll just continue this train track straight across like this, and then it'll go off into whatever direction it's going into. So just to give you guys a quick little example of what the rail situation is. So we have this track turning into this direction, and this is most likely going to terminate over in this area. But then I also have this track, which ends right there. This is going to service the eastern part of the island. And I'm not really sure what's going to happen over here, but we'll figure that one out later. So there, all right, well, we got the college campus all set up, but it can't be a complete college campus without some sports fields. So we're going to go into our parks menu, and let's start adding various parks. So I think probably for starters, I should add at least a soccer field, and then probably a football field as well. And for my football field, I think I'm just going to add it right, I guess I'll add it right here to start off with. Now we're gonna kill two birds with one stone here because my elementary school availability is dropping below where I want it to be. So included with the, what is this now? The Modern Architecture pack. We have this beautiful community elementary school. It doesn't quite match with the theme of this whole campus here, but it doesn't need to. And, you know, we can just imagine that this is maybe some sort of administrative building that has something to do with the campus. So by adding this building, oh, we have a community playground upgrade too. Oh, all right. Well, I just sniffed out an opportunity here. This was totally unplanned. Yeah, I think if I can get this to fit in the back here. I mean, using Anarchy, I can build this anywhere, but I still kind of want to respect the rules of the game a little bit. I'm going to add this little park in the back. So if I just draw out a road that splits the campus in two, am I able to add this here using non-Anarchy? Doesn't look like it's going to be possible unless if I do this, and oh crap, this is overlapping now. So if I build it here, can I do this without Anarchy? I think it'll actually let me, but because the school is overlapping this road by just a tiny little bit, it doesn't like it. But I think otherwise it would actually let me place this building here. So I'm just gonna use Anarchy, plop it down. There we go. We have a beautiful little mini soccer field in behind this school. So yeah, we'll just kind of pretend that this elementary school is part of the greater campus. And let's just see what kind of effect this is gonna have. I don't think it'll have very much of an effect because, yeah, we only have 750 students. So nothing too crazy, but that's all right. So now what I can do is go in the back here. I'll add a little cul-de-sac to make this look nice. And then what do I want to add here? Is there any other type of educational building that I might be able to add? Maybe squeeze underneath the rail tracks? I don't think so. Everything is quite large in the education department. Even like the Geological Research Center. Yeah, that's pretty large. I guess just like a park. I'm just gonna add a park. Let's try to find one that can fit here. If I had like a little plaza or something, I guess I'll have to check in the small parks. You know, we don't want to add a playground or anything like that because this is a college campus. But I suppose a small plaza is not a terrible idea. Yeah, I guess even a little park like this. I think that's fine. Oh my god, yeah, I gotta fix this up. Here, if I just level this all out, there, that's a quick and easy fix. Beautiful. Just level this all out. And there we go. We have the start of what is going to become a nice college campus. Now I have some wasted space under here. So what I can do is add some additional parking because you can never have too much parking. So let's do a single row parking underneath this overpass, just like so. And then, you know, we have some apartment buildings here that could maybe use some additional parking, or actually, can I maybe squeeze a commercial building under here? Yeah, I guess that works. And I'll just add a couple little details here by these apartment buildings. It looks like it could be some dorms that are a part of the campus. And in addition to that, I'm gonna add some little paths and everything, and I'm just gonna beautify the campus a little bit more, just to get everything more interconnected with this being a very urbanized campus. And then we're going to move on after that to detailing the surrounding neighborhood. So this is pretty much going to complete Hamilton in its entirety, but not quite, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. But I'm mostly going to be following the same sort of development as what we've built in the last episode, you know, this urbanized, semi-dense neighborhood. However, this side of Hamilton, what we're building right now, is going to be a little bit more gentrified than what we built in the last episode. So I'm going to make an effort to plop some more modern buildings, you know, some urban promenades and, you know, some more modern looking buildings, because this neighborhood has the college campus, but it's also very close to downtown, and this is where you're going to start to see a little bit of that gentrification. And again, I'm kind of basing this off of Williamsburg in New York City, because that is where I've recently stayed on a recent visit to New York, and you can tell, right? It's a very historic neighborhood, but you can see that, especially near the coast, there are a lot of modern developments going on, you know, new modern condo towers and these beautiful apartments that are going up everywhere and that. So there's going to be a little bit of that in Hamilton as well. And just like in last episode, I'm mostly going to be zoning this neighborhood. However, for some of these blocks, my zoning didn't really play along very well. So it leaves a lot of gaps in a bunch of places. So I'm just going to fill those gaps by manually plopping some row houses and little apartment buildings, things like that. And we're going to finish everything up with some little touch-ups by adding some trees and little props into some of these cracks, you know, just selling the idea that this is a very historic neighborhood with these big plushy trees. And we're not going to forget to add some back alleyways in the back of some of these buildings. I'm not going to go too crazy with the detailing, you know, adding props and, you know, garbage bins, things like that. I might add a couple at some point, but really my goal for this episode was to just develop this neighborhood. And after that, we're going to talk about what we're going to get into next. All right, so I guess we're pretty much done detailing this area. I didn't go too extreme with it, but there's one last thing that I want to do. This median here is kind of bothering me, and I don't really like that there's cars parking on either end of it, or on either side rather, so I'm going to add a nice grass median in the middle of this, and I'm also going to add some trees as well. And then I've just recently learned that we can upgrade the trees that are in the middle of this median, which I forget how to do once again. But and next, I'm going to upgrade these trees to, what do you say, guys? Hickory or maybe linden? Oh, it is linden already. London plane. I guess the London plane are pretty good. Now, I don't want these trees to be absolute massive behemoths, so I'm just going to start off with these trees. There we go, and I think that is a nice accent to downtown. What about over here? What's going on here? So I have some parking along this main road. I think we want to get rid of that too. This is a major arterial road. You know, we don't want just anybody parking alongside. Oh, but that's right. I have the wide sidewalks over here. Instead of having a wide median, I'm just going to widen the sidewalk on this side as well. And I think that should do it. I'm not going to add a grass strip or anything like that because this is, you know, a major city artery. But perhaps I could add some trees in front of our beautiful train station here, and then we can upgrade these to some longer or larger trees rather. There, I think that looks pretty good. Now I don't know if I zoom in. Oh, okay, it doesn't add little textures. That's too bad. It'd be cool if it would add little planters or something, but that's all right. Not a huge deal. So with that, we're almost done Hamilton officially. So we're pretty much done all the residential areas, but if I highlight the zone here, we have a little bit of land left over that we have to do something with. Now I'm going to reserve that for, I'm not sure next episode, but some upcoming episode. And I had a comment in my last video explaining that there lacks a transition between downtown to the smaller neighborhoods, you know, with these little tiny row houses. And I agree with that. I wholeheartedly agree with that. So we're gonna have to devise some sort of plan on how we're going to naturally, you know, decrease these massive downtown skyscrapers into these sort of row house neighborhoods, because it just kind of like downtown just stops and then we just have these little neighborhoods. Now over in this side of downtown is a little bit of a better example. You can see here there's a clear decrease in the height of these skyscrapers, and I shouldn't have any problem developing a neighborhood over here, but it's clearly not the same story on this side of downtown. Now this is not really a must, you know, I mean, this is just a superficial kind of thing, but I do agree that we should see some more density over in this region more specifically. So there might be some little changes coming to these neighborhoods. You know, I might start adding some more medium skyscrapers over in this block, you know, maybe have like a mini downtown over here. We'll see. We'll cross that bridge once we get there. But I think for this episode, we've done a fair amount of work, and I'm going to urge you to stay to the very end of this episode, as there's some epic cinematics coming right up. I just want to say thank you guys so much for checking out this episode. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed it at all, don't forget to drop a like, drop a comment, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support the channel even further, I highly encourage you to check out my Patreon or become a YouTube member. Guys, thanks once again, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.